Welcome, food travelers, to another episode here in Washington State. In this episode, we're going to Mandarin Buffet and Grill. It's been a couple years since I've been to this one. The last time I came here was without Simon, and I don't remember it being this busy. We actually arrived about 10 minutes past 8 p.m., and at the time of this recording, they close at 9:30 p.m. for Friday dinners, which doesn't leave us with very much time. This restaurant is located on the east side, about 25 minutes from Seattle. It's a very convenient location right off the 520 highway and right by Microsoft headquarters. There's also a lot of parking as it shares the parking lot with Safeway and also nearby restaurants. And at the time of this recording for the Friday dinners, it does start from 5 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And about 9 p.m. the staff will come by to each table and let you know that it is last call. And some other information about this restaurant: for adults, it is $30.99 a person. For seniors, they have a discount at $27.99 a person. And for kids ages 2 to 11 are by $2.60 per year of age. And there is a service charge of about 10% that will be added to the bill. That is when you're paying right as you enter before you get set down, and the server in the front will tell you that 10% is already added and to just hit the no tip afterwards.
Yeah, and also, Mike, I wanted to add it that when we came in and we were going through, they did ask us if we also wanted to have any drinks, and so that would have been included as well for any drinks orders that you wanted to get. But I was pleasantly surprised by this one. I know you had visited a while back, and now it's been a while since you last been there. But I've actually never been to this one, and so actually I was excited to really try it, and I was actually pleasantly surprised that with it's not small, but it's not large. It's just kind of this cozy buffet, I guess you would say, for being a buffet. But for the different things that they had and kind of the execution of the buffet, I really did enjoy this one.
Yeah, I think this one is a really good buffet for what we have in Washington State. Like Simon said, it's not a really big buffet, but for like a neighborhood style buffet, it is pretty decent size, I would say. You have like your seafood items, and you have your meat section, you have a Mongolian grill section, you also have plenty of seafood like the sashimi stuff or sushi rolls if that's what you want. I would have to say though, for their dessert is on the smaller side, and for a Washington State buffet, they don't quite follow like other buffets here with the chocolate fountains that we often see.
Yeah, Mike, kind of looking at that, it was something, they actually had it the first time you visit, and I was actually, before we actually came to this one, I wanted to go try that one again because it's basically something that we've seen so often in Washington buffets lately or in the past as well, and this time they actually took that out, so that's one of the items that we're missing. There was also some salmon skin that you actually had from the prior time you visited, and I wanted to try that too, but unfortunately on this visit they didn't have that either. So as you can see, that they actually do change out their menu a little bit. There were a lot of things I did see that were similar to your prior visit, but yeah, they do change out the food items here and there.
Yeah, Simon, the salmon skin was something I was looking forward to again. I really wanted to try that one because it was really done really well. It was really crispy, it had the great flavors and everything. And as you saw earlier in the video with the roast beef section, I thought that was kind of interesting. They actually make it so that you have to cut the slice yourself, and it's not something that you would just cut that is pre-cut already. I think because of that, it kept it pretty juicy.
Yeah, I have to agree. One of the things that when I walked up to that part of the station, I thought it's kind of weird because you kind of, there's this knife here, and I saw this, especially the rib section, there's this huge chunk of rib and it was just all intact, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess they expect us to cut it yourself. And originally I was thinking, well, a lot of people going through and maybe, handling the knife and the tongs and everything. But in the end, it was actually really nice, and when we were actually sitting down to have our plates, I could just tell there was a nice, really great shine on the piece of beef that you cut off. and you could just tell it was not juicier than some other buffets that we've been to, where we've kind of run into some dryness issues with the beef that we've had.
Yeah, that's right, Simon. It definitely was more on the fatty side and juicier, but because of the fattiness of it, it definitely was more rich and tender, almost like a buttery texture to it. And I think the fat actually adds a lot of flavors to the meat. I know a lot of people may watch this and be like, hey, I don't want to eat all that fat. It's not good for you. But hey, the flavor is there, and that's what you're really looking for roast beef. And also, they did a really good job with the exterior of it, with more like the darker ends and a little bit more crispiness to the roasting, while actually keeping the center really moist and tender. And I did also want to point out those snow crab legs in this buffet. They also have this butter machine. That's something I've actually never seen in other buffets around here, or even in Vegas. I don't often see a butter machine. It's usually like a bowl full of butter that is something you just have to pour out yourself. But I think the butter machine is genius. It's like it stays smooth and like a pourable state. It's easy to use with the design, and you can just dispense it out with easy pouring with those butter containers, and it's just great. I wish more buffets would do that type of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's usually either poured in a cup already preset, or you have to get it from a larger bowl, like you mentioned earlier. So that definitely was nice. And kind of going back to the beef steaks, the fat, even though it had that big, large layer of fat surrounding it, one of the nice things was actually when you cut it, you could actually trim it off, so you can actually not eat as much as you can measure how much of the fat you actually wanted to eat. But I think that actually benefited, like we mentioned earlier, because it added so much moisture to it. So taking the bite of that, it was just really nice, tender, soft. Definitely something that I'm glad that they did.
And another thing I did want to mention was the hot and sour soup. That's something I often don't grab at buffets is soup and carbs, as you may have known if you watch our episodes. But for this visit, I saw this and I really did want to try it. I thought the hot and sour soup was pretty good. It was very flavorful. It was very aromatic with a good balance of spiciness and tanginess. And the broth was really dark and rich. The texture of the soup, I think, has a good balance with the texture from the tofu, from the bamboo shoots, and the wood ear mushrooms. And I really appreciate this buffet having those chopped green onions on the side, so you can add as much as you want or not add it at all.
Yeah, overall, the buffet offerings, it was pretty nice. So that's why I mentioned earlier, it was just really a surprise. Like, I wasn't shocked in terms of like there wasn't going to be anything good. I was expecting something bad, but it was actually a lot better than I was expecting. So that's what I mean by that. And so definitely this one, I'm glad that we came and tried out for myself, because I would definitely come here again in the future.
Yeah, and as you see in the dessert walkthrough section here, there really isn't that much choice to it. There really isn't. But with that said, the desserts are pretty good. I mean, the creme brulee has a nice sugar texture on top. It is still fresh enough where you can see that it still breaks off, and it's not like super hard or anything like that. The sugar flan was okay. I think it could have been less, I guess, syrupy, maybe because it was just set out so long that that's just how it is now. What do you think about your dessert, Simon?
I had the panna cotta, and I actually enjoyed that. I thought it was good. I also had some mango jelly or jello, and I thought that had really nice flavor. Usually when I've had it at other places, it's really flat. It has a slight mango flavor, but in this case, it was really nice, and it wasn't that synthetic mango flavor. So that I also appreciated, because I really dislike the synthetic flavor, but I really love the flavor of mango. But overall, great buffet. I definitely would come here again, like I said.
And to wrap up the episode are the notables. Unfortunately for this one, there are none.
If you've enjoyed the content you've seen, don't forget to support the channel and hit like and subscribe. And if you want to see additional pictures of food and our travels, go over to our Instagram page and follow us there. And thanks for watching.